Oh, okay. You wanna start the recording then?
Start it over. Let's
Oh, we
not
are,
waste
yeah.
it.
Okay. Hey, everybody. All right, let's just launch into the demo. Here's the nebulizer. I took the top off. Here's my aged Orin. I'm gonna not use that yet. I'm gonna take the fresh Orin and just let's bring it down here.
For those that are curious, what's the age of your Orin?
I would say this is 3 months in the bottle here. But this right here is fresh. If you want to load up the whole nebulizer with Orin, I would say make it fresh based. Otherwise, it's going to be too powerful. Because what I did first, what I got most of my fevers from was just saline and like 10 drops of aged. So now what I do is fresh based with like 1 drop of aged, and we're good to go.
Wow, that's like better than homeopathic.
Thank you. I appreciate that compliment. So then I put my top on. Look, this is my model. It's out of production. I don't even want to tell the brand anymore because they make a new one now that is noticeably cheaper and less effective than this. So too bad. I got the really good one. All you have to deal with is Amazon now. Too bad. So yeah, there it goes out. And you know what? Why we're looking for a mesh nebulizer is because it's not going to heat the Orin, which I think Brother Sage could speak more to. But then there's another reason, is that we're talking very fine particulates, more fine than just steam. And that small water droplet size, which is what it is, has the ability to go deeper into your tissues, deeper into your lungs, hydrate the vocal folds, which is actually why I bought this nebulizer in particular, was because it has a greater capacity to hydrate the vocal folds, me being a singer. Okay, yeah. Remembering to breathe.
This is the other version, the other model. By the way, we're going to officially start our call anytime now. So for those that are curious, or if anybody's on right now, the model that I've been using, I posted the link from my Amazon site. It's called the Zion style mesh, and it comes with either adult and child size face covers. I know the word mask is a buzzword in 2020. And I'll tell you what we can do with this out in the public in a minute. It has adult and child side mask, as well as this tip, as well as it also has, where is it? The part you can close the tip when you're not using it.
Ooh, yeah.
When you're not using it, you take off this part, you put that on, and boom. If you got something to store, you can store it. If not, you just don't want anything floating around in there.
Oh, here's another idea about why that's important. The Orin will evaporate, or saline, or things tend to evaporate in this because you don't have that much. So over a course of a day or so, it'll evaporate fully and leave a sediment if we're talking Orin. Now, the sediment doesn't seem to stay in the nebulizer if you use the nebulizer. It seems to come right out through the mesh, the vibrating mesh, and doesn't get stuck in the unit. But if you let it sit in there and evaporate, you're going to get some crusty buildup. Now, I've done that a couple times on accident. I've just rubbed it off. The nebulizer's been fine. So all in all, nebulizer is super Orin friendly. Just if you want to maximize nebulizer care, just clean it out. But as we know, like Orin is crazy, bad bacteria resistant, and I'm really fine, no worries with using this in the Orin personally.
Yeah, I would clean it in case you have a roommate who's also doing urine therapy and he wants to borrow it sometime.
That's the best reason. I love it.
I have one of my students that I live with, and he's very proud of himself. He got up to 4 ounces a day. I said, when you get up to this much a day, we'll rock the world together. That would be great.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a competition, but there's benefits to more.
There is. And that's why I wrote about saturation dosing last year.
Yes, it got into your newest book. I like that. It actually, that in particular, made me more brave to try it. when I read your book. What was the big takeaway in terms of protocols for me? It was saturation dosing. Absolutely.
So, guys, we're officially starting the nebulizer, and we actually pre-started our start. So this is Brother Sage and
Matt Sena. Hey, everybody.
We're going to describe today and do the teaching on nebulizing Orin, diffusing Orin, this is old school, diffusing Orin, and turning into the word that I was looking for is micron-sized particulates.
Ooh, yes.
That are as close as you can get to atomic quark size, hardly visible little teeny droplets. So as a gas, AKA, I prefer to call it a vapor, you're able to get into areas inside sinus cavities, blood-brain barrier membrane transference. We want to be able to not only access the sinuses, the higher sinuses, you got lower sinuses, you got higher sinuses. We want to be able to get right up into that pineal gland, the master gland, yeah, like that, and the pituitary gland, the amygdala, and all the different cavities inside the brain. That's why we're doing this. Now, for you guys that are just starting off, if you've got something going on mucus-wise or congestion-wise up inside your nose, you might feel a sting at first and gag or cough.
I feel it up here, like right on cue. I wish I could show you my feeling. You have to try it.
You have to try it, guys. And it happened to me, as happens to other people when they first start taking the nebulizer vapor of the Orin. Is so powerful in this cleansing reaction that even in the mouth, by the way, if you got one of these things, if you want maximum amount, just cover. It's getting to me now.
Yeah.
Cover up these side holes.
Priceless, freaking priceless.
Right, priceless. Now, one of the visions I had was to create some kind of oxygen tank, a tent. So your entire head is enclosed in the Orin, and you're basically, you can't go anywhere from it. You're gonna have to breathe it.
What I'm excited about in particular, I have to admit, is just how freaking potent this is. And so, like, let's temper people's expectations. That's not the right way to say it. Warn people. Let's warn people about how powerful this is, Brother Sage. Because you're talking about filling up your whole head. Like that's maybe after a year of training, in my opinion.
Yeah, so that was the disclaimer.
There's the disclaimer. I'm not a medical doctor. That's the second disclaimer.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up, because when people are giving treatment suggestions, now what I wrote in the manual is that we're not doctors, we're not medically trained, we're not licensed health practitioners. Nope. We're average guys that are figuring it out as we go. And some of us are blessed to have mentors and teachers that have been on this journey for 40 to 50 years and so forth. So that'll save us from making mistakes and stumbling on our journey, or hurting ourselves, or having a major detox that you're not seeing coming. And next thing you know, you're laid out in bed for a couple of days and you're blaming the Orin. So
you first.
Okay, so of the protocols, I mentioned all kinds of protocols in the book. This is only one of them, which we're talking about today. We're wanting to be able to clean out the brain. And now this is just extraordinary for people who have ADD, ADHD, Alzheimer's, senility, dementia, memory problems. You guys with the short-term memory? And God knows what kind of things happen to be falling into your brain because you had mercury in your fillings, because you had heavy metals in your body, you had parasites in your intestines. Well, a lot of that stuff is hanging out somewhere, and if it gets transferred by those critters into your brain, you want to clean them out. So being able to do that either directly up the nose and mouth, or massaging it into your brain. You know, try new things. I haven't figured everything out yet, but with this little device here, guys, you can exfoliate your face. You can exfoliate your skin. You can help your eyes if you got cataracts, if you got night vision problems. if you have floaters, and see what Matt's doing? You want to saturate your eye. Look at that sucker. Look at it. And
See
just
all the
let it
steam in there? You
See
can
all
see
that
all the orange steam in there, and it's just right on my eye, and my eye is loving it. I'm telling you, it feels like a cool breeze from the ocean. It doesn't feel like liquid. My eye's not getting red or anything. It's
God, it
really,
feels wonderful.
it really feels like a refreshing breeze with like some humidity.
Now, I hope in the future of the Shivambu movement, they start offering this at beauty salons.
You have to pee into a cup when you enter the building. If you don't come hydrated, you're not allowed in.
All right, what happened here?
It's still recording.
Join new meeting. You have to leave this meeting to join the new meeting? No, I'm not going anywhere. Thank you. Zoom, what are you doing with me? What was so funny was yesterday we were having a meeting of the American National State group here in Colorado for us to get out of being corporate slaves in America and to learn who we were, as free sovereign beings on planet Earth with the jurisdiction of the soil and the land. I don't know if you got to that part of your journey yet, but
you're gonna zoom out beyond maritime law or something.
Yeah, exactly. So what was happening was the person who was our mentor and teacher, who's been at this for like 50 years, every time she mentions the word of the former number 45 president by name, there's an AI app that's in her computer that bumps the screen so she can't read the words. And she figured out AI somehow got into her computer and it was censoring her words. So she was like using paper from time to time and switching from text to paper.
I've seen my Facebook posts be like deleted as I'm writing them. And there's an error. It's like right when I just type something,
Yes, we should put Orin in our computers.
It was like for like innocuous things. I forget what it is, but yeah, like I have experience with the same thing. Just saying. Crazy.
Yeah, guys, take what you will out of that.
Yep.
So we start with the basics. Start with the basics. All right. And the basics is know thy water, physician. Physician, know thy water. Now, what's a really joy about this water is that when you really get to the depth and go ahead. Cheers. Once people get all their negative associations out of their brain, out of their thinking, when they totally clear all the myths and the propaganda from the medical system or the medical corporation, we'll put it that way.
Yes, sir.
And you start to see that this water has something unique about its frequency, its content. There's a consciousness that comes with this water. As a matter of fact, your body, when it was being built, was also being wired with information and energy about what's a perfect cell. What is the perfect blueprint and cellular structure of the body? So every time you put this back in your body, guess what? The intelligence goes right to work with it. It's been waiting for the medicine. It puts it to work. And it's amazing how quickly your health and your state of mind turn around. And guess what? You drank your water. That was simple, wasn't it?
I'm so glad you brought this up in the context of a nebulizer conversation, because my experience is of an intense detox reaction with enough nebulized Orin. I don't want to theorize about this too much, but to me, the flu-like symptoms, the fevers I've gotten on multiple occasions of nebulizing enough Orin, and this is, of course, when I'm starting to do this, and other people have gotten this very, intense detox reaction. The logic that I want to go with is exactly what Brother Sage just said. It's telling my body how to clean itself and reorient itself. And it's doing that so well in the nebulized form that it's causing a healing reaction. That's all I want to say, because I don't really know, but that's my experience. It's just telling me how to clean and reset, and it just knows. And I like to think, if I'm going to think, that it has something to do with the intelligence, the information capacity of water, and how we're made of water, and how water's a miracle, and it can store information from light. But that's about it. Other than that, try it for yourself and heal. You know what I mean? get it out of the head and into the sinuses.
And everywhere it can go, which is
Yeah.
once it's the magic is that once it gets in your bloodstream, off it goes everywhere.
Oh, yes. So why do I get, well, let's just talk about the observation. I get full body flu-like fever symptoms. It's not just in my lungs or just in my sinuses. It's communicated instantly to my whole body. Like, you ever get sick, right? You don't get sick starting with your left shoulder or your lungs. You just get sick, and that's what I'm experiencing with a local administration or a local administration. Boom, my whole body is evenly getting a fever. Nothing mysterious here. It's just like, guys, we can trigger a fever with something that we can drink copious amounts of and not get sick. So we're not talking about a pathogen or a contagion for inducing a fever. So this punches a big hole in germ theory, if I can be so bold. But back to what I was saying originally, it's not about the thinking about
it. Matt, our water sister Grace has just graced us with her presence.
Hi, Grace.
Hi.
Now Grace has been around the water for a while, but she's not necessarily got the support and the community as we have. So welcome to the family, Grace.
Thank you.
My connection's
really, hi. So my connection's really bad here. So in case you can't hear me, just know it's my connection. Cheers.
Cheers to the water of life.
Are you drinking aged or fresh?
This is 48 hours. This is 2-day-old.
Oh, okay.
Fresh.
Super aged. It's like fine wine.
Like fine wine, but better than wine, and it doesn't have sulfates. None of that stuff. So Matt, you brought up the subject of detox, and that's near and dear to me because I've been teaching and practicing purification techniques for many, many years. And so we realize that the body is going through one of two cycles, restoration or purification. Now, since this is a new paradigm and we're using new languaging to understand things, like I've changed the word age to evolving, Orin.
Yeah.
Right? Well, the same thing is going to be true with detox, migraines, getting sick, and all that. It's an exciting time for me because I'm going, oh, good. Less to hold on to my body, and I'm going to move more things out of the body. Now, when we're doing a detox, you have to look at your whole life. This is not just your body going clean. You got emotions you never expressed. You got some anger, some rage, some joy, some whatever it is that's in the cells, that's in your unconscious. It's going to come to the surface. Everything's giving you an opportunity to move forward in life. So the more you can receive it and be glad it's coming, the better.
And if I were to attempt, because I love this side of things, a mechanism, is that water has the full spectrum of life's information in it. Water is a hologram. It can reflect infinitely and hold the information of the total system in one micro drop. That's what a hologram is. And that's why I'm not talking about this is detoxing heavy metals or this is detoxing this or that, because it's a full spectrum experience. When I nebulize enough Orin, boom, emotional, physical, I'm sweating, I'm like going back through my memories. It's like an emotional, difficult time.
It's a purge.
Yep, it's a real purge with enough nebulized Orin. So I think everybody should feel totally, safe to try a little bit and get the buzz that you get from nebulizing Orin, and don't think, oh my God, am I going to get sick in like 24 hours? No, it's all very fast onset. There's a bit of a delay, but it's all very fast. So like wait 5 or 10 minutes and you'll know what you're going to be experiencing with nebulized Orin. And so that's nice too. It's not going to sneak up on you.
Yeah, and the more that you can study videos like these, any of Matt's videos, any of Harry's, mine's, the more you can get an understanding of what the Orin's capability is in your healing, as well as your happiness. The reason we want to include happiness as a factor, dear Grace, is because There's oxytocin, melatonin, serotonin, DHEA, magnesium, B vitamins that are going to relax your heart, your adrenals, your nervous system, and it's going to bring happiness because it's going to pull those things out of your body. It's the same thing that people are always taking vitamins for, but we have it in a very small size that gets in real quick.
That's my experience as well.
Now, it also addressed the saturation dose idea because the people, and I won't name names that live here, it's a good idea to not, well, look at your level of commitment, guys. The guys that are really serious about their health, they want to try all the protocols. They want to make this into a lifestyle like I have. And that requires you to take more practices, more commitment, and more time with the water. So the people who are real serious, man, they're serious. They wouldn't waste a drop. They're out in the public. They bring their pee jar in their backpack. I mean, they want to keep it.
And that's what excites me about nebulized Orin is because it doesn't take much to experience something intense. So then what if we keep practicing this? The journey is like definitely deep with nebula as it is with every practice, but whew, I just want to like give the proper warning too with this nebulized Orin. It's powerful stuff. That's what's scary and exciting about it. Yeah.
So with respect, we use the nebula.
I saw that. I saw your video the other day when you were nebulizing. So I found it really interesting because I have a daily practice where I do nasal drinking. So I do a lot of nasal drinking every morning with the fresh. And then every night I do evolved Orin all over my face, my eyelashes, because they were all broken and had grown back. And I inhale it again, the aged in my nose, and then I drink a little. So I have this practice in the morning and at night, but I don't ever have allergies. And I'm always, my system, since I've been doing nasal drinking for a year, is so clean. I never have congestion. So I guess I'm not drawn to the nebulizer because I'm not sure what more benefit it would give me.
I think that the small particle size just has an ability to transmit the information that's in the water more deeply and thereby stimulating a deeper detoxification reaction. On the other hand, I have not been doing the nasal, I haven't been able to nose drink yet. I practice every once in a while. It freaks me out. I'll get there. So I haven't been, as up to date with those practices. However, nothing has given me a fever on command in my life before multiple times, each time I do it, with very little usage. And, I've been interested in detox for 4 years. To me, that's a while. I think, it must be something to do with the particle size, because what else is it going to be? I don't know. It's the same Orin,
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Grace. Each one of the 24 protocols that I wrote in the book, the manual, they're all designed for you to get to know each one. If you're drawn to the nebulizer, great. If you're not, great. The old school form was a diffuser that people use for essential oils. This is really cool at night because the gold hue from the urine turns the room yellow. But the whole idea is to find which ones you resonate with and use those. Also, I suggest experimenting. Now, Matt, a real simple way. Now, if you experiment with the nebulizer, you find out, well, what's the difference between liquid and vaporized? I mean, we're talking different forms. It's like talking different dimensions or different contexts of understanding something.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a change in form. It's not a change in chemistry.
So the simple way to drink it through your nose is just put some in the palm of your hand and snort.
That's how I do it every day. I love it.
For beginners, I've been having to come up with all these baby steps for newbies, right? Like for the people who are going, well, I don't know if I could drink it. I don't really know. It sounds like a cool idea. First thing you ever want people to do is to touch the pee and notice they didn't get sick or die. Before you ever lick it, let them form a new neural pathway to the brain. All right. Then the second step is have them lick it. All right. Then the third step is get a dropper bottle and have them do a dropper full and just build up from there. It would be the same thing with the nose. I mean, you could start off and just get your nose lined with it.
Right.
And start to train yourself to get, make an association on, okay, I'm putting it in my nose, whatever. Right. Then you go to the snort method. If you go to drinkingthroughthenose.com, which is a free ebook by Samuel G. Cohen out in India /UK, he teaches you put some in. This is he got it from his guru Kelly Robb, and they've been practicing drinking everything from Orin up the nose to wine and fruit juice and coconut water. I mean, these guys have really took it to another place. But what he suggests is hold some in your mouth. So when you're tipping it back to drink it into one nostril or the other, it's going to force it back into the higher sinuses and come back into the throat that way, instead of you struggling with it, just trying to tip it through your nose.
Yeah, I got into Kelly a little while ago. Oh, pardon.
Have you tried, Matt, have you tried the neti pot? Because that's the way I first started. I put my urine in the neti pot, and then I liked it so much, I just started nasal drinking.
Yeah, I've been able to do that. I got a hell of a gag reflex, I guess. Yeah, but with the neti pot, absolutely, I'm getting there. I've been a little kind of just with the nebulizer. I've been off the neti pot, but it reminded me I wanted to get to the nose drinking thing. So yeah.
But it sounds like the nebulizer has really been beneficial for you. Is that what I'm gathering?
Well, I love the idea that I can stimulate. Well, yes, it's super beneficial for me because I love how I feel after that fever breaks. It's a energetic release. It's not just a chemical release. I'm fairly EMF sensitive, and I feel like fevers do a lot to break EMF pollution out of the body. There's like a book called The Invisible Rainbow, and in there they document cases where people who are sick don't conduct electricity. That's one bit of like the old form of entertainment where everybody would go out, hold hands in a line of people, and the shock would go through them. People would like do this, but somebody with a fever, it would stop the chain.
Oh, wow, fascinating.
I know. And then sort of where my inspiration to talk about this comes from is that's what I feel like when I get this fever. And when I come off of it, it's like I've just grounded, like I just, hopped into the best little sea in the world. And I just feel so much relief from, all of it. I live in New York City. All my clothings are EMF proof. This little thing restructures the EMF. So I do a lot of experiments with EMF. This shirt, whole thing. And so I feel like, I have enough experience to say it really feels like it relieves my EMF symptoms.
How soon after you nebulize do you feel the fever break?
If I nebulize for about 10 or 15 minutes, I'll start to get the flu-like symptoms. If I go to a half an hour, I'll definitely have the fever. The fever will come on in probably 20 minutes, like full on. Then I'll have it for 6 hours. Like tough, like I want to like get into my shower and help the fever come out. Just normal ways you would help a fever by like staying warm. Sauna. That's what I want to do, is give myself a fever and then hop in the sauna and just sweat it out and be done with it. But yeah, with minimal support, 6 hours of not feeling good at all.
So Matt and Sage,
yes,
I'm confused. So when you nebulize, Matt, you're actually bringing it.
You're breaking up, Grace.
You want that fever. You're bringing it on. But does everybody?
Grace, you're breaking up.
Who nebulizes?
Shoot.
Oh, shoot.
We're going to have to send some nebulized Orin to Grace.
I think I can.
We don't have any cell towers around here.
Let me just respond to one thing.
What I was saying is, okay.
Please do. Did you get that?
Yeah. Yes, I want to induce this fever. And then one other reason besides you do feel better after you do it, and it is, in my opinion, a cleaning reaction, which is detoxing me ultimately. it shows that I am in control of when I have a fever. If I'm sick and I want to stimulate a fever to get over that sickness and heal myself, then I'm in control of that. I can do that. And I've practiced when I wasn't deadly sick. And fever therapy has been used to treat sarcoma even. Our innate immune system is quite powerful. Maybe it's not even an immune system. Maybe it's a detox system. Because like, then it's like, well, I'm not infecting myself with nebulized Orin. I drink this stuff all the time. Why is changing its form causing a fever when I can drink it without? That is not a pathogenic correlation. It's not contagion. It's not the standard model of why you get a fever. So to me, that's fascinating, is that I can disprove a good chunk of germ theory's evidence base on myself repeatedly. Which to me, my personal experience of science, that's huge. This is the most effective and meaningful experiment I've ever done.
Yeah, I do. I find it fascinating. And I'm wondering if anyone else besides you, Matt, is having the fever induced when they're doing the nebulizer.
I've seen one person on Facebook admit it, and Harry says, yeah, it's powerful.
Okay. Are you guys in the Facebook urine therapy group? There's 8,000 of us.
I'm in the Philosopher's Stone one.
Okay. I'm in a different one, and it's very, it's just been great resource.
Throw me into it. I want to be in all the groups.
There's about 10 to 12 urine therapy groups, including 2 that are all in Spanish.
No habla español, so I won't be in that one.
I guess, yeah, not a problem. So yeah, they're out there. If you haven't, Grace, did you join the Shivambu Hut?
I don't know how to get to it. I'm technologically challenged really bad.
No problem. You go to shivambu.org and there's a link for a free membership there.
So it's not through Facebook?
No, this is a separate social platform. Shivambu.org is spelled old traditional Sanskrit. S-H-I-V-A, Shiva, A-M-B-U, S-H-I-V-A-M-B-H-U, BHU.org.
Okay, well, I must have it in one of my emails from you. So I will double check. I didn't realize that was a whole separate thing to join. Okay.
Yes, and what we did was we created a gathering place for people who want to meet and dialogue and share content that's not related to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, those things. This was our own platform.
Yeah. Perfect.
I'd like to say one more thing to finish off my thought. If this was pathogenic, if this was contagion based, then I should be developing an immunity, right? Well, why can I continue to give myself a fever from the same substance? That's because I'm not developing an immunity. It's because there's nothing to do with immunity. It's a detox reaction.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a detox reaction for sure.
Right, and that
I'll tell you when I get immunity to my own fevers given to me by my own urine. Like it just the logic doesn't work.
No.
And I can do it over and over again. So it's like it's just too obvious for how insane the world has gotten with fear of pathogens.
Oh, the world is so upside down that I'm ready to run away to a commune of like-minded people soon.
Get over here to Sanctuary Garden.
I know,
Matt,
I'm so sorry I missed your last gathering. We always have these conflicting things going on.
Yes, and we were going to have one this Saturday or Sunday, but the weather's going to be too cold or the wood outside is going to be too wet, so we can't pull up. But Matt, what you've done was you confirmed the fact that no matter how many years you've been purifying, people say to me all the time, but Sage, you're such a pure guy. How could you ever get sick? I get these things. I get the fevers, the headaches, whatever. Well, okay, you've got a lifetime of accumulated things in your cells, in your gut, you're right. And every day you're getting things that come to you from people, electromagnetic EMF products, contaminants come all over the place. So in order to get ahead of that, you've got to keep doing techniques and practices every day.
It's from conception. Like so much of our mother's crap gets put into us during the pregnancy, which is really unfortunate. It's very scary, but it's true. You know, sometimes women who are poisoned feel better during pregnancy too. But like we can test the baby's blood, we can test the cord blood, and they found like 270 something, you know, toxic particles in the cord blood. Actually, I've learned a lot about this from the Root Brand's detox YouTube page. They have a wonderful new detox product, and I've learned tons about environmental toxicology from them. That's why I'm bringing it up now, is because their YouTube channel is a treasure trove, a PhD education in environmental toxicology and symptomology, which has done a lot of good for me in terms of realizing what this is detoxing me from too. But they talk about, and they have some evidence for this stuff in the womb. So yeah, it's like really intense, the depth of detoxification. So much so that maybe all illness is a poisoning or a starvation, and the only reason you'd be starved is because you're poisoned. So, I mean, you know, if you have some food, and so it's all poisoning is kind of where I'm at.
Well, no, it makes sense. I mean, I was fortunate enough to be raised by a mother who in the 60s had natural childbirth, was a vegetarian, did yoga, and breastfed us all till we were 2, and were anti-vaxxers. So my foundation's pretty strong. I don't do a ton of research on urine therapy because I just follow my intuition. I know I love it. I know when to use it. I was able to get rid of some arthritis in my fingers just by soaking for 45 minutes, 2 times in 1 week. And this was a year ago, and the arthritis is gone. The pain is gone. I mean, it hasn't been able to get my blood pressure down, and I'm not sure what's going on with that, or my maybe hypothyroid, but the benefits are still so amazing that there's just no downside. And I guess it shouldn't mystify me, but it does, that people think I'm crazy and just tolerate me and just think, oh, Grace is crazy because she drinks her urine or uses it. And my intuition just knows that they're missing out, but whatever. I don't know what I can do. I'm tired of trying to convince people.
Yes, yes, Grace. And what's so ironic is the people who are calling us conspiracy theories, they believe in CNN.
Oh God, I know. Well, they've just been brainwashed, so.
Right. And so our work, and by the way, Grace, if you want to join me sometime, we're going to do some pioneering in consciousness. We're going to go down on Pearl Street Mall and set up a table introducing golden blood plasma water therapy and see what kind of responses we get from the general public down on Pearl Street. So you're welcome to join in. I'll be looking for a cameraman, and we're going to create a cut and paste method so Matt and anybody on the planet can do this offline and take it to the people.
That's
that
awesome.
would be interesting. That would be an experiment.
Thanks for making it simple enough to be able to translate. One last thing I wanted to say about getting a fever with the Orin nebulization. Near-infrared saunas make you sweat like crazy. They're not as fancy, not nearly as expensive as far-infrared saunas. And in my experience, they make you sweat more. You know, I don't really want to do this at the rate that I want to do this unless I have my near-infrared sauna. And actually mine broke like right as I started to do the nebulizer. So my experience with this has just been laying on my bed, you know, writhing. Honestly, do it before you go to sleep. Get a mild fever and then fall asleep. You'll sweat it off in your sleep, but then you got a sweaty ass bed. Like really, you have to change your sheets. So like, you know, this is powerful, and maybe you want to support it with a cheap near-infrared, cheap as they come, near-infrared sauna to help you sweat it out. Because that's just what I'm going to do to be able to continue this. And you'll hear me talking, I'm sure, very excitedly about about this, but it's going to be coming from the fact that I've been able to support it with my near-infrared sauna. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do it at the frequency I'm planning on doing it. Now, the near-infrared sauna that I recommend would be Sauna Space, recommended by Dr. Tom Cowan. And that, because of his recommendation by Dr. Tom Cowan, is now like booked, is sold out for like 10 weeks. So I'm still like 6 weeks away from receiving my backup lamp. I already have my tent, and I have an old lamp, but my old lamp crapped out on me. But I've had like a year experience with the near-infrared sauna, halogen lamp, full spectrum near-infrared. That near-infrared full spectrum thing is very much the most healing frequencies of the sun. That red light, lower spectrum near-infrared. they shunt the water to the surface, so you'll sweat like crazy on the side that's facing the sauna, and then turn like you're a rotisserie chicken, and it'll shunt to the other side. And this method, you just sweat a lot more, which in my world is what I want a sauna for. It's not to like do some collagen thing with far infrared and pay like literally $20,000 more. So yeah, I'll be posting pictures of my near infrared mixed with this, but just pray for it to come. I'm so excited to just start hitting this hard, and literally I won't be able to. It's just too much to like make myself dizzy, feeling weird. You know that kind of spiritual feeling you feel when you get a fever, of kind of being a little dissociated and a little spacey? I'm there right now on the amount that you've seen me take today, not much. So it's exciting and powerful. I need the near infrared to support it. That's the last point I want.
I mean, I love infrared saunas, but I sweat almost every night. It's called perimenopause.
Yes.
I hate it. But you know what? The urine therapy helps.
Yeah, dig. I love that you said your arthritis went away. Autoimmune is such a scary and common thing nowadays, and I think it's really caused by poisoning of various kinds. Although, again, I think everything is poisoning. So
I do too. I do too. I'm just so fortunate to be so vital and healthy at my age. I'm still cycling at 54, a healthy monthly menstruation cycle. That's rare at 54 to be that healthy.
Congrats.
And even though I was raised healthy, I had a sugar addiction as a teen and a young adult because I ate crap, and I had to redo everything in the last 10 years to get in balance again. And urine therapy has just been that icing on the cake of everything I've been doing. I'll never give it up. I know people that have done it for like 10 years, and one of them said, "Oh, I'm just not doing it anymore." I have a girlfriend that introduced me. She was doing it for 4 years and she's not doing it anymore. And I'm just like, how do you give it up?
Yeah.
Literally, I broke all my eyelashes a month ago by curling them. They were chopped in half. They have regrown so long and luscious from putting aged urine with a cotton ball every night on my eye. They're like brand new baby eyelashes. They're just huge. And I'm like, this stuff's amazing.
Come closer. Let's see your eyelashes. Let's see them. Nice.
I don't know if you can see them.
Oh, they're there. Look at that.
They were all broken. And for them to have grown back is just amazing. Matt's growing his.
So I want to add something to this sweating and purification. I don't hear people talk about it a lot. I wrote it in both my books, and I got the idea from Cohen Vanderkroon, who wrote the Golden Fountain book. It's called compresses, or you can call them body wraps. Remember when people did herbal body wraps, they would put all these herbs in these liquid mixtures all over their skin. They would strip down to as little or nothing as possible, then wrap themselves in some kind of plastic wrap or cotton or wool or whatever it is, and lay there for an hour sweating. So we could do the same thing with urine. Someone who's really sick, or someone's really bad off, or it's got eczema, whatever it is, saturate their body with urine, wrap them up, and let them marinate and cook for an hour.
Well, it's funny you say that, because twice in the last year since I started urine therapy, I cook a lot. So I have this huge knife, and I have cut my finger twice really deep where I almost needed stitches. And I just take aged urine on a cotton ball, saturate it, put it on my hand, wrap it in a bandage, and keep it there all day. Within 24 hours, it's almost healed. So I don't need to go to doctors.
I want everybody to get to make urine your first go-to for medicine.
Absolutely.
It's got to be like, first thing you think about, oh man, I got a sunburn, boom, I cut myself shaving, boom, I got stung by a wasp and a bee, boom, and
have you heard of got bit by a rattlesnake? You pee in your hand, put it in your mouth, hold it for 15 seconds, you will create a natural antibody, anti-venom to the rattlesnake bite. Have you seen that?
Yep.
No.
Yes.
You have? Send me what you got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forgetting. I've heard of it.
Yes.
I imagine the yogis who are sitting there with their pipe with a cobra in front of them, they're used to that.
That's the way you
I
don't
mean-
have fear, is that you know how to cure it.
Yeah, it's true. It's like, hey, it's at least it's not going to hurt you to try it, because you know how long it's going to take for paramedics to get to you on a hike if you get bit by a rattlesnake.
Yep.
Oh, I want to say one more thing about the purification via sweating. The body is made of gel water, which is relatively solid water. I mean, if you stab a cell with a micropipette, even a cell doesn't leak. It's a gel, really, water gel. It's what we're made out of. Orin is very much gel like water, by the way, just saying, especially when you age it. Now, when we get a fever, I think what's happening, and I've heard this as much, I can't cite my sources here, but it's fairly obvious, the body's heating up and water's coming out. So I think we're liquefying just slightly this gel water in order to make it more permeable, so that the crap that the body's purifying can flush out and be sweat out, which we know happens like crazy through the skin. Detoxification, we can measure that stuff. That's been done. So the gel water loosens up and then pushes out the stuff, and that's my thinking for why a fever is a detox reaction. I'm not just saying it's a detox reaction. That's why I think so.
Well, no, I mean, I'm really pro fevers in a sense. I've had some bad experiences as a nanny where anytime the kids are getting just even a slight fever, the mom is shoving Tylenol and ibuprofen.
Yes.
And it's really hard because I'm combative with those parents and they don't want to listen to me. And I'm literally like, this is almost abuse. Your child needs this slight fever. You're actually thwarting it and then putting toxins in his or her body. I can't work for you. Literally, I can't work for those types of people. But
And
that's
then
the majority.
You're attacked for that perspective
Of
when literally
course.
they're poisoning the liver, so the liver can't do its detoxification. That's why the symptoms stop.
But these people don't understand. It's simple. It's not, to me, it's common sense how a fever works and why it's so important.
That's because a fever is caused by a pathogen. Don't you know? It's this virus contagion paradigm that we have to get out of. And to give myself a fever at will is the strongest thing I can think of for shattering that paradigm. That's what I'm most excited about with this, really.
That's true. But
it seems that since most people have been programmed to believe the way the medical community has taught them to believe, then anything that doesn't feel right, they wrap it up into, oh, it's a disease.
Yeah.
They don't know where to categorize it.
You're being attacked. It's not that you're poisoned. No. Poisoning isn't really an issue. It's that you're being attacked by an enemy and we need to go to war, That's the paradigm.
I am mystified that any intelligent person thinks that by giving yourself or your children Tylenol or ibuprofen is helpful. I don't understand. They don't understand the fever is your friend. The fever is like your little warriors doing its job. And I'm just so in awe of people's lack of awareness around it. And I'll be honest, I kind of feel like in the next 2 to 5 years, lots of people are going to get sick and die, especially from getting the jab.
Yep.
And I just have to accept that that's what's going to happen.
Yep. And we try to help and they get mad at us, And
Exactly.
So I don't want to be resentful. I don't want to waste my energy. So I spend my time alone healing myself, really. And then talking to wonderful people like you. And it's brought a lot of joy into my life. And my friends and family don't feel like I'm imposing on them because I'm loosening up. I'm also setting intentions here. It's really not the way to use my energy. My God.
Yeah.
Our work is not to convert anybody. Our work is not to change, fix, save, alter, protect anybody. Our job is to be a healthy, joyous example for people. And then they're going to come up to Grace and go, Grace, you look great. What are you doing? I want some of that. And there's your opening, because they're going to start coming to you. And since I've been writing books and talking about it, people come out of the woodworks to talk about what can I do for myself with urine therapy. I said, sit down. We got a ways to go. We got to talk.
There's so much you can do. I mean, Your Own Perfect Medicine is one of the best books I've read. And I just love all the information that's out there on it.
Well, we're the paradigm busters. We're the guys that are tipping the tipping point where people no longer have to feel helpless and confused about self-healing. They don't have to rely on an outside authority. We're empowering the human species to take matters in their own life. And Harry said it quite well. Meet your savior. Because when you realize, sorry for interrupting, when you realize with this water, it's so nutritionally packed with 3,000 compounds that literally you'll never be hungry or sick or thirsty again, as long as you remember to practice it and keep that close to you. And that's why people who fast on it going, I wasn't hungry. I didn't miss a meal. I didn't feel deficient. I just kept on going.
I think consistency is key, and you can absolutely reach those heights. Yeah. Consistency unlocks continually more and more and more. And that's so exciting for me because I like improvement.
Not only that, if you notice that I'm unshakable when it comes to this subject.
Yep. Yeah, you are.
Yeah. And you'll notice you're got the same high level of faith and high level of trust in your own being and your own self-master or your I am presence, that anybody comes up to you and wants to argue with you about urine therapy, they got no argument. They can't win with you. So they're either going to go, oh, well, maybe he's right and they got it wrong, and I want to know more, Matt. Or they go, he's a fucking cultist. He's a nutcase. I'm going the other direction. Well, they eventually circle back. So
can't be free and effective.
The cult of sage. I'm going to join that cult.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are all devotees of your own Shivambu. I just
that's
have
the
a
thing. Yeah, exactly.
I'm a messenger.
Exactly.
Be your own guru.
Well, that's what I call it. We figured out about 3 years ago, thanks to the fact that there's 10 million pee drinkers in Germany and there's 3 million in China. And I started like getting all these pieces of the world puzzle and figured out there's 30 million people practicing this as of 3 years ago.
Wait. 30 million people that we know of that have admitted it. There's more in the closet.
Exactly. And more are coming out of the water closet and admitting. You'll find this, Grace. There was a moment I'm sitting at the table with Indira and Vijay Gupta over in Whole Foods, used to be a fun place. We're sitting at the cafeteria eating. And before I joined them, I was sitting with one of my clients, my students' clients, who we're talking about urine therapy. Well, this guy comes walking, left the Guptas, came to walk and sit next to me, says, really? You're talking about urine therapy? Yeah, I'm up to about an ounce.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
He was real proud of himself. And then I go sit with the Guptas, and these guys have been doing urine therapy since 1984.
Yes, I met the at your house that time.
Great people. But what's happening is people just coming out of the woodworks going, I'm so glad I have someone I can talk to about this. I've had to keep it hidden from my wife, from my parents, from my friends. They'll shun me. They'll leave me. I'm going, you're safe. Let's talk.
Well, maybe the Guptas would be a great people to have on the Pearl Street thing.
I'm going to think about that. She gets really into, I know Indira, I've known her for 26 years, and she's like an endless loop tape. She comes around the corner with, it's the Brahman consciousness. And she goes into empirical evidence, and I almost know her shtick.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I might join you. It sounds like fun.
It's fun. And if we do it right, we'll get, now I've been invited by, what is his name? Mark? No, Mark was a previous owner. Charlie owns Tonic Bar down at 10th and Pearl Street.
Okay.
And he's given me blessing to sit outside where they have those picnic tables. If you know that intersection across the street is the Trident. All right. Mm-hmm. We've got foot and eye traffic from 3 or 4 directions.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then all we need you, Matt, you show up with a drone and we'll get an aerial video going on, and oh my God.
Nebulizing in a screen on the drone. Getting in people's faces.
I love that I just got invited to a party, and on the invitation, it said, if you've been jabbed in the last 2 weeks, please don't come to this party because it sheds, and we just want to be safe. I love how I love it.
Yep. You know,
Oh,
I
my
had to
goodness.
get the jab in order to see my parents again and to work. At least that's
Oh, really?
my perception of things, is I was forced to. I mean, my parents wouldn't let me come home and see them again, and I'm an only child. It means a lot to me. And then I wouldn't be able to work at the job I was working at, so I'd have to pray extra hard for a new work. That all just seemed like a little too much, so I felt like I had to. And so, yeah, that's right when I had the inspiration to, right around the time I had the inspiration to start giving myself a fever with this thing. And so,
That's okay. Okay, Matt, that makes total sense now. I didn't realize you had the jab. This is why you're detoxing. This is why urine therapy is so crucial for you to keep you vital and healthy, because you had that nasty jab.
well,
Okay.
yes, but I swear, if you suck on this for 10 plus minutes, you'll get severe symptoms. Anybody, literally
Right.
some of the cleanest people. Like, so,
Okay.
I mean, yes,
Interesting.
like it's super important. I did a ton of research on the vax. I, I think it's horrible. I just think I
Yeah.
have control of my health. I really do.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because
And-
I'm working with the cytoplasm, which is what the
Mhm.
genes express through. You know, I don't give a fuck about the genes. I
Right.
control what they express through.
So Matt, let me ask you a question. Are your parents going to require you to get the booster and the constant jabs, because it's going to continue? The coronavirus.
Yeah, so basically I need to get another kind of work, and then put enough pressure on them to where I'm like, I'm not going to come see you, you know.
God, that's a tough situation to be in,
Yeah.
sweetie.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
You know, I live in New York City to, like, you know, just get used to the dystopian hellscape. So I'm pretty into it.
Right.
All right.
I mean, maybe you can just have, I mean,
Matt,
maybe just have a couple homeless people spit on you, and that'll be your immune system right there.
Well, look, I think Brother Sage wants to tell me to, like, maybe like improve my mindset and be in a mindset of abundance. Well, I swear that's the only way I've gotten through all this. And then one other thing I wanted to say is probably the most cost effective and effective near infrared sauna combination that I can think of is there's two different sizes. Creatrix, that's create tricks, solutions, saunas. Just get the tent. Their lamp
Mhm.
is fine, but mine kind of broke on me. And apparently the sauna space lamps are superior in their light spectrum quality, recommended by Dr. Tom Cowan. So get the Creatrix Solutions tent and the sauna space lamp. And I think we're only talking about like $2,300 or less. If you get the half size tent, I think that's going to be, you know, $600. And then the lamp is like 1,000. So that's like literally $1,500 for all the sauna you need, which like is super cheap for sauna. So sauna space lamp, Creatrix Solution tent. It's got a reflecting interior, and you get the glasses so your eyes don't form. It doesn't give you a cataract, actually.
send me the details. Send me
Yeah,
the
I will.
details.
Mhm.
You're being set up by the universe to be the poster child of making it through jabs. So
Yeah.
I would love to see you come out with your superpowers and be an example of overcoming any diversity that the world throws at you.
Thank you. You know, I've had such memory issues, and my life has been so confusing. I have a terrible time telling my story. And really, I come from a good background. I just deal with a lot of like depression and anxiety. But yeah, I can certainly talk about having to get the jab and not wanting to get the jab. And I can talk about, the cytoplasm can beat the mRNA bullshit. Yeah, I mean, look, the DNA probably doesn't even do much in terms of protein encoding. It's probably all just light. The DNA just sucks up light. I think everything is much more to do with water than it has to do with chemical water and information than it has to do with chemical transference or look, everything happens instantaneously in the body. If it was all a bunch of chemical signals that went all through, this instantaneous action at a distance wouldn't be freaking happening. I can respond to you that fast. Is it really like tons of, synapses and then back down, to twiddle my finger? It happens too fast. It has to be electricity and water. It just happen. Literally, that logic alone is enough to kind of debunk the whole thing. But really, I'm just quoting Dr. Tom Cowan on this, who is huge. He's talking this way. It's hard to kind of translate him into this, but really, if you listen to him, he's like, yeah, I don't really think the DNA is doing much besides absorbing light. And like a lot of the organelles don't really exist. and the structure of water is the epitome of health. Oh, the heart isn't a pump, it's a water vortexer. Dr. Tom Cowan is saying all of this. So everybody, if you want to understand me, where I'm coming from, get more research where I'm coming from, just read Dr. Tom Cowan's books. Done.
Is Dr. Tom Cowan, is he a urine therapist also?
No,
Okay.
he's super skeptic, and that's what led him into this alternative medicine, is because he's like super skeptic. It's just he hasn't discovered some of the miracle cures yet. But he's figured out all the
Okay.
problems, in my opinion. He's super famous right now because he came out with that 5G and coronavirus viral video about a year ago now. So he's been
Right,
super
right.
censored, but he's got a lot of books. Well, not a lot, but some really good, humanly written, clear books. Real quick.
Well, I will also throw in there, and I know Matt will want to hear this when he gets back, is that we're also, Matt, I wanted to also remind us that we have authority over our authority and dominion over our body, its structure, its frequency, and the consciousness that we hold for ourselves. If you blend that with a healthy concept of physical immortality and the elimination of all fear about anything attacking you, hurting you, making you sick, or killing you, then nothing can take you out, including the jab. And so I would say get prayed up and do what you can spiritually and mentally to keep your joy as high as you can every day and your level of gratitude.
Well, being able to express these very urgent thoughts that I'm having to you guys right now, and to use your platform, Brother Sage, to spread this message means a lot to me, because a lot of thoughts have just suddenly made sense. And with this key experiment of giving myself a fever consistently with this, my paradigm has been shattered in terms of now I really think it's all just poisoning. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
But along with these books that I've read recently. So
Let me see.
Cancer and the New Biology of Water, Dr.
Okay.
Tom Cowan. Human Heart, Cosmic Heart, talks about
Nice.
a lot of data on heart disease and what the real cause of heart disease is.
Oh, I need to read that one. I need you to read that one.
The heart can't possibly be a pump. It's incrable.
I've got to read that one.
If the heart was a pump, it'd be like mammoth size. You know, the red blood cells are biggish. Most or tons of capillaries are like literally smaller than the red blood cells. The heart was pushing all this stuff that was literally bigger than the vessels they're moving through. It would be impossible. I mean, the heart goes right into the lungs, right? And the lungs have the smallest capillaries, and there's just bajillions of them in there. And literally the heart wouldn't be able to pump it past the lungs if it was a pump. So every single vessel that the blood moves through has a hydrophilic is a hydrophilic tube, which forms a negative water, which is exclusion zone water, coating around the inside of the capillary, or sorry, any vessel. And then the positive water gets pushed through. So this electrical differential just pushes the blood through. It's a self-pumping machine. It's a perpetual motion machine, all of our vessels, because of this electrical difference that's based in the water. The water itself that's coating the inside of the vessel is negatively charged. Not that it has negatively charged stuff in it. It's the water itself has arranged itself in this hexagonal, gelish like form that is negatively charged and pushes the positively charged protonated water through. This Orin shows the qualities of this exclusion zone, exclusion zone. Structured water is another way to put it, but it's a type of structured water, this exclusion zone negatively charged.
And it's activated.
Yeah, like this negative quality of water, where water arranges in a hexagonal way. That hexagram, six-sided, like you take the water molecules and they turn into a hexagram. The inside of that hexagram is negatively charged, because the inside charges of each molecule, like here, the charges on the inside of that angle, they all add up. There's like oxygen, hydrogen, or whatever. the like amount of charge that is on the that's on the atom that's inside of the ring, with oxygen being negatively charged and hydrogen being positively charged. You add up all those, the inside angles, it gets to be negative. So the arrangement, the form of the water is causing dysfunction of this negatively charged water that forms together like a gel.
Okay, so stop right there. Stop right there. I got to ask you a question. So in his heart book, he describes all of this, but does he give people tools on how to reverse heart disease naturally?
Yeah, he talks about diet and low dose naltrexone.
Okay.
Actually, that's for autoimmunity.
Okay.
And he talks about shoot.
That's okay. I'm going to probably check that book out. I'll check it out thoroughly. But my other question for both of you is, have either of you come across in your research, in your Orin research, people that have reversed heart disease and or high blood pressure or hyperthyroid from the use of Orin? You have, Sage, you have? Okay.
Mm-hmm. And if we did research, I'm sure we can grab some testimonials.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the long way to say, I think the Orin is very similar to the water that coats the inside of all of our vessels, both the arteries and veins, and causes the movement of our blood.
Okay. I got to up my intake because I don't drink a lot of it. I just sip a little at night and a little in the morning through the nose, and then I'm kind of done. And this is tasting so good. I need to drink more throughout the day, whether it's fresh or aged.
Show us.
Well, Harry and I think that the aged Orin is super structured water, which has got more of this gel-like and negatively charged quality, because we can see it's becoming thicker. And
well, it tastes better. It tastes delicious. I love drinking the aged.
Nice.
But why is some of my aged still really yellow and the aged that gets really brown I really like better? And why is some get really brown and dark and some doesn't?
I would say it's the process, how it's evolving. I think it's in different stages.
Harry and I think it's affecting the quality of the water itself. So there are dissolved particles, but we think that the combination of the electromagnetic resonance of those particles that are dissolved in it, the biophotonic, literal like light on mostly the near infrared spectrum, emitted by the dissolved, like colloidal, really dissolved particles in the Orin, are informing the water over time, evolving the water itself. So while Brother Sage has mentioned maybe there is actually I think he knows this for sure, there's an increase in ammonium content in the aged Orin. I think Harry and I also think that it's informing the water deeper and deeper. So it's like the water itself is changing. And we think of water as water, but no, it's an information library, and it can arrange itself in infinite depths.
That's why it's evolving. It's got Shiva's consciousness. It's got Shiva's consciousness built into it.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a plant. When I tell my plants every day how beautiful they are, they just keep growing. If I were to tell them they're ugly and horrible and have this meanness, those plants would shrivel and die, just like my water when I talk to it, whether it's urine or just, tap water.
So Grace,
go ahead.
All right. So you can either tell yourself you want to have a certain quantity that you drink every day. We're not talking about your other protocols.
Okay.
But if you're telling yourself you have a certain quantity and you want to try to achieve that certain quantity, like an ounce, 6 ounces, a liter during the day, you could use that as a target to shoot for, or you can use what Doc Mike Whitord, he came up with the expression sip looping. And what that is every time you collect your pee, take a sip or take a shot and leave the rest to store.
Okay, great.
And that's like time released nutrition throughout the day.
So I usually do sip it when I go pee every day because I just want to see where it's at and what it tastes like, because I just want to know, oh, wow, this tastes really good, or this doesn't taste so great right now. So I sip it often. So that's good. Okay.
And doing that is your litmus paper, your litmus test. If you're wondering if, your diet is right, keep drinking your pee during the day. You can see what you have to change and what you have to eliminate and what you may want to add. And ultimately, people, I don't have to tell people, but ultimately people are looking toward high vibe, high frequency food, which is raw foods and fruits.
Now, I have a question about being a fruitarian. I have a friend that's a fruitarian, and I know you are too. Isn't it, because to me, I would be afraid it's too much sugar because I already have candida in my body, or I used to. So I try to like limit my sugar intake, and just only doing fruit would scare me. So tell me your experience with fruit.
Well, you have to sort out the different types of sugars,
Okay.
right? Glucose is the sugar that the brain is nourished and fed on, which comes in fruit. A lot of the teachings or the myth that fruit sugar is bad for you is not taking into consideration the different types of different types of sugar. And so you look at fruitarians that have been doing fruitarianism for 20, 30 years, like Annie Osborne out in England and the people in Australia, they don't seem to have a problem. I'm able to do multi-projects and write books and do talks and keep up with the house on fruit. A lot of it has to do with your understanding of the sugar and your state of consciousness.
Good to know. Well, you will be my guide if I ever go that route.
Come by for some fruit. Mangoes are in season right now. I've been buying a lot of the yellow honey mangoes. They're like 68 cents over at Sprouts, and I usually buy 30 at a time, and that's what I'll eat for 2 or 3 days.
I love mangoes. Yummy.
And I avoided mangoes for years. I mean, I lived in Hawaii, and they were free in Oahu because people had way too much in their backyard, and they did not want them to rot or have animals around their place eating it. And so they would give mangoes to everybody. And for a while, I'm going, isn't that too much sugar? Until I had to do my homework and research and change my belief about it.
Well, muscle building, I think, is much more hormonal than protein based. Although I don't think I'm into muscle building, I'm into like maintaining muscle mass, sure. And I've gotten like a lot out of just doing high intensity interval training with like no change in diet, which is a hormone thing. I'm just signaling I need to keep it. And it's like, okay, let's keep it. Doesn't care what diet I'm on.
Yeah. And a lot of that training, if you've ever seen any videos with Elamine, the breatharian, you caught that one, didn't you, Matt? Weren't you with me? Yeah. Yep. The guy's hitting 60. He's got great upper body strength. He's showing off his muscles. I mean, he's into that, but he's strong. He's muscular. And if you've seen John DePass, he fasts every Monday. He calls it No Fucking Food Monday. And he doesn't eat any food. Sometimes he'll fast for 3 days. And the guy is in tip-top shape. He's a high fitness trainer. And so a lot of things that people are achieving with fruit, with food, without food, is based on their consciousness and their frequency.
Well, I mean, it does make perfect sense because to me, intuitively, most food is toxic and poison, and people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when I tried to cure myself of. I had like a UTI. I had a UTI one time, and I was not going to go to the doctor. This was like 3 or 4 years ago. I was like, "Fuck this! I'm not going to a doctor." So I don't know, and I don't fast because I'm super skinny. I weigh like 100 pounds. So I never fasted. I read, don't eat, and just like take this like medicine or this supplement and drink water. I had more energy that 24 hours during that horrible UTI because I didn't eat and I just drank water. And so it proved to me, and I healed it on my own. And I was peeing blood and I didn't have to go to the doctor. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. Now I haven't fasted since because I'll do intermittent fasting maybe, but I do worry about my weight. And you're kind of on the leaner side too, Sage. So people kind of give me a hard time because I can drop weight. I can go to 99 pounds. And, most people just think that you've got some kind of eating disorder when you don't. I love to eat, but guess what? When I eat a lot and it tastes great, I feel sick within an hour. I don't feel good.
Oh, yeah. And if you've been fasting or just doing fruit and eat something like a couple of nuts, your brain starts to clog up and your energy dips. I mean, I notice that when I'm doing fasting or if I'm doing fruit all day and I decide to have something, I might play with something else that I don't normally eat, like some beans and rice. All of a sudden, it's like I gotta take a nap. I conk out. It goes right to the stomach and the energy changes. And that probably explains why people in Mexico take a siesta every every day because they're eating beans and rice and corn every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and in Italy too. In Italy too, they see us. They take a nap in the afternoon with the pasta. You know,
Those carbs just knock you out, man.
they do. They do.
They
Definitely
do.
control.
I don't know if you caught this fruitarian, I forget his name, but the guy eats 25 bananas a day and he does 100-mile marathons like 5 times a week. He's a marathon runner who lives on
Wow,
fruit.
that's amazing.
So you're seeing that there is superpowers that people have. There are people who seem to be phenomenon. I got to meet Wiley Brooks in 1986. He was one of the few known breatharians at the time. He was this black man from High Sierra Mountains in California. He says he can't live in the city because he picks up power lines from 5 miles away. And he proved on national television, and Ripley's Believe It or Not, you can look it up, Matt. The guy weighs 164 pounds. He's about as tall as I am. He straight lifted 1,100 pounds over his shoulders to prove to the world that strength had nothing to do with muscles.
That's awesome.
Yep. Your water gel is going to be so clean and perfectly aligned. That electricity is just going to right through. And that's chi power.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
So all things are possible, including healing the things that you say are incurable.
I got a structured water stick that has been blowing my mind too. That's for a later thing. I stick it into the it's non-sacrificial, it just resonates. I stick it into the Orin.
Right on.
So my experiments in this are going to be picking up speed when I get the near infrared sauna lamp in like a month plus, and I look forward to like taking pictures of a thermometer, and I'm going to be doing it every freaking night because I really feel like the near infrared sauna is going to make it like more than doable. That's when it'll actually get fun, because really it's difficult.
So guys, if you will share your testimonials with Shivambu Hut, that'll inspire people. I know people like to go from Facebook group to Facebook group, but you're going to meet different people. But we have a central gathering place, so all the members they get to be supported. And if you want to bring, and I think you should record it anyway, because anything we're doing and everything we discover is history in the making for the next generation. So record it any way you can.
Yeah, take back your fevers. Your fevers are yours.
Fevers rock.
Embrace the fever.
Yeah. Crazy to hear about your babysitting experience. I can imagine how that went down. Yeah.
Yeah, it's happened twice where moms are doing that. So it's unfortunate.
Oh, yeah, it's how I grew up. Yeah. And, my mom did it out of love for me, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
And so foreign to me because my mom and dad were very alternative. They were almost, they didn't take us to the doctors for anything. We'd need either stitches or a bone to be set. They didn't know anything. It's too bad they didn't get us on the urine and they didn't know about it because that would have been beneficial.
Thank God for the internet.
Thank God for just meeting people like Brother Sage in your community.
Thank you. Very instrumental in getting me to do it in the first place, was seeing him talk about it. Yeah.
I know. I was fortunate to have a off the cuff speaker at my home. Oh no, that was a different thing. We had a meeting, a Liberty Lovers meeting, and Brother Sage showed up, and I had heard of him kind of for some reason because I was starting urine therapy, and I was like, oh my God, I finally get to meet you.
Well, what I have fun, and I did this yesterday, Grace and Matt, is the people who have been following me and been going back and forth with me on private messenger because they need some guidance or they need some counseling. All of a sudden, I'll call them on a video chat. And they're thrown off at first going, oh my God, it's Brother Sage. I'm going, yeah, now, can we talk now? Let's get past that. Let's talk now.
That's what happens with me.
Yeah, and it's things, we couldn't have done this 20 years ago. We couldn't all of a sudden, spontaneously show up in someone's home on a video.
You're right. So you're pointing out the good things of technology because I'm kind of a Luddite and don't like technology, but there's one of the pros right there.
Well, I've been teaching Reverend Laughingheart, who I share this house with. You've met John. And he sees me dialoguing with people in Italy and France and Greece. I talked to a gal in Greece the other day, and he says, well, I need to get my message out. I really want to reach a lot of people and help them, you know, to find their home, come back to their heart. I said, you got to make friends with the camera.
Yeah. It
And then
kind
you
of
can
is the
reach
way
the
it is.
world.
That's
So-
just one of the reasons why I've been so excited to just like spill everything in this conversation, because it's such a pleasure to be on with Brother Sage as an opportunity to explain this. So it's a long conversation, but I swear I said it all. That was everything. So thank you so much for listening, you two and everybody who's on the call. I'm so excited about this.
Thank
So,
you for sharing. Your stuff's great insight, great information.
Get busy nebulizing, guys. This is where we're at right now. And I'm sure then the next generation is going to come up with new protocols. It's been quite a journey so far. You guys ain't seen nothing yet. The best is coming our way. So stay with the water and keep talking about it any way you can, even if you have to code it, Matt. Let people know about drinking the water. Oh, yellow hat. Hello. A yellow diffuser.
Yeah.
All right. So anything you want, Grace, Matt, anything you want, put in the description when I upload it onto YouTube before I get you the link. Send that to me. Like if you want to promote your work, if you want to steer somebody a certain way that supports this video, send it my way.
Okay.
Okay.
Blessings.
Blessings.
Namaste, baby.
Namaste. I must go. Love you.